So I want to go back to we've touched on different components of user acquisition. I would say overall, regardless of the type of app, what are the main things that you think apps need to absolutely adhere to, keep in mind whenever they're running a user acquisition campaign?
Yeah, so like most obvious one is however many ad creatives you think you need to build, you probably need to build 10 times as many as you think. Because we talked to like some of the most successful advertisers in the world, and their single best creative sometimes perform for like 2 days. It's the single best performing creative, but for some reason it works for like 2 days, a week, 3 days, whatever it is. And so you need to have a lot of optionality, because the second that people get used to seeing something, they'll stop consuming it. They'll be like, okay, I've already seen this one. Like at this point, I've seen so many Gardenscape ads that I just like refuse to watch them anymore. But like they actually do a pretty good job around like pushing out a bunch of different types of content on ads, and like so like every 4 or 5 I see something new, and so I'm like my brain knows that it's something new, and so like I think the volume of creatives that you need to design is way more than you think, and I think the really big publishers know this. But we've seen smaller publishers like optimize their team by hiring like 4 UA people and 1 designer, and I think it should be split. Like 1 or 2 really sharp people can allocate the money, especially given the resources that like networks like you guys offer today. But like hire more design resources. It will be the single biggest bottleneck of your success. That would be like my first kind of pillar. Second pillar would be just like be really clever around who you target and how you target them. So there are always like obvious buckets, but you need to keep in mind that your competitors are probably also playing in the obvious buckets, right? And you have to find the other places that your users spend their time and their money, and you need to target them in places that might like require like two steps, you know what I mean? But if you do the research and you get the data and you figure out where your users are spending their time, like be a little bit creative around in what forums you target them and what other types of apps, because you might be like the only puzzle app running ads inside a health and fitness app because you figured out that correlation, whereas inside like a role-playing game there's like 75 different puzzle apps advertising. It's really, really hard for you to stand out.